Alright, hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today I will be giving you guys a list of mine of the best prospects from this season of Dana White's Contender series that just wrapped up. It just finished up. Very, very good season. It broke a lot of records. It broke the record for the most finishes in a season. I'm pretty sure it broke the record for the shortest average fight time in a season. So a lot of excitement from this card, a lot of excitement from this season, a lot of interesting new fighters coming in to the UFC, trying to establish their names. So I'm going to try to pick the best prospects, the ones I think will see the most success from each division. Yeah, man, and just hopefully see it turns out that I was right about all of them in a couple of years or so. So, let's not waste any time to this. The way I've organized this is by the division that they fought in on the Contender series. So if some guy fights at welterweight but is actually a lightweight, they're gonna go in the welterweight category. And for the people I think are actually gonna move up or down, I'll also list a second place. So let's get into this without further ado. Starting with the women's strawweight division, I'm gonna have to go with Carol Foro. Is going to be it's funny because there was only two options to choose from, and surprisingly enough I chose the winner between the two. Carol Foro looked really good in her fight. She had one of the best performances of any women on the roster. She displayed a really strong striking ability. Just going from the left jab into the overhand right, was able to get multiple knockdowns on Chanel Dyer. It looked really, really good there. She also had some really good body strikes that looked like, was really impressive against Chanel Dyer, was really affecting her throughout the fight. She has good cardio and she's tough, and she has a 9-1 record. I really like Carol Foro to be a strong contender in the strawweight division, obviously over Chanel Dyer. And I like her. Up next in the women's flyweight division was Sofia Montenegro. Funny enough, right? I'm sure, if you were to go back and look at all the instances of, if I were to do this behind multiple seasons, I don't think I'd ever choose the loser of a fight to be the top prospect from a division. But once again, there was only one fight in this division, and both fighters got a contract. However, though, I think Sofia Montenegro ekes out this win a little bit just because of her performance was slightly better. I agree with Dana White. I didn't have this fight going to her opponent's way. I think Sofia Montenegro won her fight. I think she's durable. I think she's very persistent against adversity, and I think she can be very scrappy at times. She can get takedowns, some pretty ugly takedowns, and some good exchanges. And then she also has some pretty good striking still on display. And for someone that's only 26, I think still has a lot to learn, still a lot to display within the division. I think she still has a lot to add to this division. So we will see how her career turns out as well. But I'm picking her over her opponent to be the best prospect from this division. Moving on to flyweights, there was only one flyweight to get a contract from this season, so he is the de facto winner of this category. Imanol Rodriguez. He was the only one to get a contract out of the flyweight, so that tells you how good his performance actually was. He is a fast, unorthodox striking ability. I really love watching his fight. I think he is a very exciting fighter. He's super explosive, and when he tags someone up and just tries to chase the finish, he becomes very, very hyper. He's one of the more, hyper. That's the only way I can describe it. Is a hyper fast guy trying to find a finish. He was able to in his fight. He looked really, really good in his fight. He's only 25 and he's 6-0 undefeated. So I have Imanol Rodriguez to be a solid contender within the flyweight division. Now we can actually move on to deciphering between divisions here with the bantamweights. The person I'm going with, though, the fighter I'm going with to be the best bantamweight out of the bunch is Juan Diaz. Now, I think there isn't... people will probably say there's some recency bias here, but man, that spinning back elbow KO is not... I know we've seen it in abundance a lot this year, but that is not an easy thing to land on a guy, and it was set up very well. It showcases a high display of fight IQ that I really like to see out of someone like Juan Diaz. Also, surprisingly enough, this was the fastest finish of the entire bantamweight division. There were 3 third-round finishes in bantamweight, and this barely ekes them all out by being 2 minutes before the third round. So this was the fastest finish of the bantamweights. Also, he is 27 with a 15-1-1 record. Obviously has some very good striking ability. I think he'll have some good wrestling defense, but I super rate Juan Diaz. I hope to see more good things out of him. I think he will be the best bantamweight of the bunch. I really wanted to choose Cody Chovinchek and what's his name, Luis Jourdain, but nah, man, I'm gonna go with Juan Diaz, bro. That spinning back elbow KO was nasty against a good competitor too. Anyway, featherweights. I could have chosen a lot of people, man. There were 9 featherweights this season that got picked up. And I did not go with, I will tell you right now, it is not Curtis Campbell that is going to be the one to say this. I swear to God, man, we're not doing this, dude. We're not doing this again with a fucking another, Northern English guy, dude. If you were to just judge every fighter based on how much commentary in the UFC gassed them up, Curtis Campbell would be the top prospect of like the last 3 seasons, dude. I don't know what the fuck it is they like in Curtis Campbell, but they just fucking love this guy. They think he's gonna be like champ level, and I'm like, well, let's just fucking relax here a little bit, buddy. There's some other contenders in this featherweight division too. I almost went with Larian Douglas as well. He had a really, really solid performance as well. But, he has a pretty ugly 13-5 record and is also 30. So I went with the younger 27-year-old 17-2 Marcio Barbosa. He has some serious power behind his strike, which is something you really need in the featherweight division. He showcased good right hooks and some good combinations, especially within the clinch, which makes him pretty dangerous in the pocket. And like I said before, he's 17-2, but he has 16 first-round finishes. I know, coming from Brazil, a lot of those guys are probably cans. But we'll see how much they are, because now he fought someone else, like someone worthy of his level, and then he also got the first round finish there. So we will see how good of a career Marcio Barbosa has, but my money is on him to reach the highest level out of all of them, not Curtis Campbell. I'm sorry, English fans. Up next we have lightweight. There were some pretty interesting performances here. I want to shout out Magomed Zayunok. How do you say this fucking kid's name? Magomed Zainukov. I thought he had probably the best performance of the entire season. He looked the most UFC ready, but the person I'm going to go with that will probably, I will bet to reach the highest highs of anyone in this lightweight division is Samuel Sanchez. Dude, this guy also had a really, really strong performance. He looked composed with someone on his back. He was working wrist control really well. He can fight a grappler, and he looked really, really good doing so. And then as soon as he backs him up against the cage, man, it's just some strong left and right hooks to finish the fight. Looked really awesome. A very good KO win for him. He's 13-1, and he is only 22 years old. He's older than me still, thankfully, thank God, but 22 years old and you're 13-1, bro, how can I not back up a guy like this? You know what I mean? I have to put my faith in this guy. I think he will have the highest ceiling out of anyone. I do like Magomed Zainukov a lot, but I'm gonna go with Samuel Sanchez to be the best lightweight out of anyone in this season. Moving on to welterweight. Not too many from this season, actually. I was kind of surprised how little there were. But the one I'm going to go with is Jean-Paul Lebanoisi. Very pedigreed background. His father was the Gracie striking coach, which me personally, if my dad was the Gracie striking coach, I would not tell a single soul on earth that, dude. That's like being a Conor McGregor's jiu-jitsu coach. Could you imagine the fucking absolute fucking dickhead asshole bitch that is his jiu-jitsu coach, bro? I couldn't imagine what annoying fucking prick would actually be his jiu-jitsu coach, but whatever. Gracie looked really good in his performance here. He was the heavy favorite, so he performed just as well as I thought he would. He was really good at defending the striking, I guess, again, also against a guy who was who had the high size advantage on him, and then 30 seconds in, he landed just the perfect KO combination to get the win here. He is 9-2 at 26 years old and is probably a lightweight. He is more built like a lightweight. So if he does turn out to move down to the lightweight division, I would say Michael Oliveira is my second guess as the best prospect in this season's welterweight division. Moving on to middleweights. Again, a lot of middleweights to choose from here, man. This was actually pretty tough. I was tempted to go with Bisengur Susukurov, but I try also not to judge the fights they've already had so far. It's the same with Cam Rousen. Cam Rousen also really did look good in his actual fight on the Contender Series. But the person I'm gonna go with is Cezary Olejniczak, dude. This guy looked awesome, man. He was the heavy favorite and made the most out of it. He had an amazing performance, man. Those fucking hammer fists that he threw. I think like people need to go back and look at how quick and fast those were, man. It's actually they were like deadly quick, and I love his striking ability all around. He looked really, really good for the short amount of time we saw him. And for a guy that's only 25, he has a record of 16-3, which is like super, super impressive. He has a ton of experience in the octagon. Of course, obviously, he's also the brother of Michelle Olejniczuk, so I'm guessing he might probably end up moving over to the Fighting Nerds if he's not already there. But I really, really like what I saw out of Cezar Olejniczuk. Fucking Polish names. I'm expecting big things from him. I think he will go far. I think he really, really, really will go far. So hopefully he can and prove me right, because I'm backing you up. Up next is light heavyweight division. I think this is pretty cut and dry, honestly. I think it's pretty obvious who I think was the best light heavyweight the division the season was. It's Abdul Rahman Yakev. He was the heaviest favorite out of anyone in this entire season, and it's for a reason. This guy has just some of the most insane power behind his hands I've ever seen. He could literally just fucking touch a guy and he looked like he would die. And that's exactly what ended up happening in his fight. He literally the guy caught a glancing blow. His opponent caught a glancing blow and was just absolutely folded to the pressure of him. He's also already preparing for his next fight, which I think he has a good chance of winning. He is 7-0, and at only 24 years old, he has a very high ceiling he could grow up to, he could work his way into, even if he takes a loss. I think he can rebound really, really well. I am very excited to see how Abdulrahman Yakiev goes on and competes in this division. Finally, to wrap it all up, I have the heavyweights. I'm not so confident in this one. I really didn't like the heavyweight, compare the heavyweight division that we got from last year to this year. I really don't think these guys are gonna amount to anything truly. But still, I had to pick someone. So the person I picked was Dante Johnson, who it says here is already gonna fight a middleweight. So yeah, because he fought someone last minute. He looked really good in it though. I'll get to that in a second. But if Johnson obviously is not going to stay at heavyweight, I'm going to go with Steven Asplund as a second. I think, big old titty boy over there has some serious knockout power, so I think he'll be able to, not fluke KO wins, but he'll still be able to climb the ranks a little bit. I think he gets a pretty easy win over Austin Lane or something. But I just want to talk about Dante Johnson for a second because, man, this guy is really, really good at fighting people that are taller than him. He has this awesome boxing mentality when he's defending strikes. He'll do the really good head movement that's a lot of heavyweights don't really have to face a lot, so I think it kind of throws in a curveball to a lot of heavyweights. And then he also picks his punches really well, dude. I think he's really, really smart with his striking, and he displayed a really high fight IQ in his fight of whether to shoot whether to punch towards the ear and the back of the head or right off the temple. He did really well there, and of course, again, the striking defense itself is really strong. Was really on display for his fight. Put on a really good performance. I have him being the best out of all the heavyweights. I mean, it was him, Steven Asplund, and that fucking annoying guy, Josh Hockett. Who had a really boring fight, but still, I think Dante Johnson will be the best. I don't really have someone overall who could be the biggest out of this entire season. I would probably say Cezar Olejniczuk. I think he has the greatest skills. I don't know. He fought in a really competitive division this year in middleweight, so I think to put on a performance like he did, and with the background and the resume that he has, I think he probably will end up the best out of everyone in the entire roster of this season. But still, those are my predictions as to who the best prospects will be from this Contender Series season. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below, who you think will be the biggest prospect in this upcoming season, who you don't think will amount to anything in life ever from this season as well. Here's a playlist talking about some other UFC videos or some other MMA videos. Here's a video that YouTube thinks you will like, and then you can subscribe to the channel right here. But that is going to do it for me. I will see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.